legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before all face to blink. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, today is April the 26th, 2024. Yes, so I rose. It felt like I rose from the dead, girl. Whew. Y'all know I fell the other day. So my body is going through, ooh, but I prayed that God would not allow me to revert because I spent so much time um on a therapy journey trying to move forward past my injuries that a fall could take me back to the other side of where I started. So I'm just praying that everything works out fine. Y'all know I can't afford to go to the chiropractor, though I need to, especially since that fall. I really need to. But right now, all I have is prayer. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pray and ask that God heal my body and not allow it to go backwards in time. So I've been just taking my muscle relaxers, hoping that it relaxes those. Don't even allow, because after an impact, an accident, or something like that, your body just tightens up. It likes to tighten itself up and just stay like tight in a ball. So I'm hoping that because I have been through a slip and fall situation before, that I already have the muscle relaxer that it's not gonna let me get to that first balled up state, right? Hopefully we're praying. But anyway, so I got up as I was getting ready slowly because I can't jump out that bed. I jump out that bed, I'm finna pull some muscles, and then I have to deal with those pulled muscles for a while. So, got out the bed, got me a long hot shower, and as I get ready, we have a Bluetooth speaker in the shower. So I like to just let YouTube run and stuff. So lately, I have been watching someone named Belinda Strana, and I listened to her video while I was in the shower, got out the shower, stood under that hot water, just letting it beat down on my back. Not too long, girl, because we got to pay the water bill, right? But as long as I can and as hot as I can. Stood in the shower and then got out, and I got some new muscle rub cream that I've never tried before, and kind of rubbed it into my neck, the backs of my legs, because that sciatic area is tightening up too ever since the fall. And then this muscle here that goes from the neck straight down to the shoulder, I feel that tight. And if I move the wrong way, I know I'm gonna pull that, and that hurts when you pull that because then it's harder to hold your head up. And every turn is like, ugh. So I was listening to, I'm sorry, sidetrack. Y'all already know Cadillac gets sidetracked. I was listening to Belinda Strana's video as I was getting ready. I will link it down in the description box. This is one of the people that I do watch. She reviews, mostly what I see on her channel is she reviews TikTok videos, like basically a topic comes on TikTok because TikTok is a place that is open and free to discuss. That I'm praying they don't get rid of TikTok. And okay, my next foresight that if they don't get rid of it, I believe they're gonna start making it like Facebook and Instagram and somewhat like us here where we can't hardly say what we want to say. Like those topics will be no longer able to be discussed because of the tight algorithms on these platforms where you can't hardly say what you need to say, so you cannot relay your message, and you just stay in, everybody just stays in the dark. I think that would be the second way of how it goes if they don't get rid of TikTok. They're gonna really fix it to where ain't no point in being there, honestly. And a lot of people will gravitate there because you can say the things pretty much. They do got some censorship over there, but you can pretty much say what you really do need to say on that app. I have been able to talk about my husband's wrongful conviction right? Here on YouTube, I gotta bury it and hide it within other content, or I just won't be seen, and that is so tedious, and it takes so long. That's why it's taking me so long to get to the goal. But anyway, she had this video where it was a guy. He happened to be of Caucasian descent. He was saying, "Why are black Gen Xers so angry?" Like basically, all of that oppression that your forefathers went through was done with. Like, why are you so angry? You really basically saying you have no right to be angry. Like, you're just angry just for angry's sake, because those things are not happening now. And a slew of stitches came in, pointing him to how it is still affecting today, even though those outright, I believe, isms, because you can't say what I need to say, right? Y'all know what I need to say. I believe the ism back then was overt. It was completely done in your face. And now it is done in a way, it's a insidious way that if you don't pay attention, if you don't look closer, if you don't read the fine print, you won't know it's still happening. So in a way, it's easier to practice it today, because back then you were out it. They can see you overtly practicing isms. But now you could be caught practicing isms, and by it being so insidiously ingrained into what you're doing, and it's a part of the culture, that nobody can outright call you on it. And if they do, all you have to do is say, no, that had nothing to do with it. No, that had nothing to do with it. Just like that situation when I went to go visit my husband, and my husband just wrote a grievance on an officer. The officer that my husband wrote a grievance on he intercepted it, took it, found out my husband wrote a grievance on him, wrote his grievance back, denied, right? He denied his own grievance against himself. And then I was approved for visitation. So you have to already apply earlier in the week. So they knew I was coming to visitation. They knew I was coming alone. And he had just rejected this grievance against my husband. And out of 5 visitors, this was like during the height of, 2020 virus or whatever. It was during that time, it was like 2021, or I don't think we were in 2022 yet, but it's still, the precautions were still happening, right? So as soon as I came, they rushed me in, and then 5 minutes after sitting down said dogs hit on my car. And when I called their attention to how in the jail did some dogs hit on my car, I have nothing to do with substances. But of course, he didn't believe that. He kept trying to insinuate I knew all about substances, which, why do you assume I know about substances? Why? Is it because I'm coming to see my husband who's in prison? So you're assuming that I know all about substances. So you know about the DOPE, you know about that, and I'm like, no, I literally don't. And how some dogs hit on my car. Where's the freaking dog? Like, they think they're dealing with Boo Boo, the goddamn fool. I'm like, okay, so where's the dog? I've been visiting for over 20 something years. I've been all around their dogs, and I know we watch how they handle the dogs. If the dog had a truly hit on my car, the dog probably would have still been standing there. They claim, oh, because it was so hot in Florida, we had to go put the dog back up in the car. Okay. But anyways, when we tried to get to the bottom of it, you know what they said? It was just a random search. I know it wasn't no random search. You know it wasn't no random search. And they even know that wasn't no random search. but they can hide behind what they did because it wasn't overtly done. It was covertly done, right? So that's how they do it now, even within the justice system. And later, someone that she stitched one of the I'm not that she stitched of the stitches to that video where he's like, hold on, we grew up together. We went to the same schools. We both listened to hip hop. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you're not oppressed like your forefathers were, basically, is what he's saying. So why are you angry? And that kind of stood out to me because I grew up around nothing but white people. You would not believe it, but I actually did. I grew up around only white people. I do have the stories of how I was the only one black girl in my whole elementary school, and how they would tell us that these trees, this lake that we went by, they would tell me that that is where the SLAVES were, you know, outed. They would tell me those things. And I'm a kid. I don't even know. I literally had just thought I was black because someone told me I was black, and I went home running to my mother and said, hold on, mom. Somebody called me black. They called me a black girl. And my mother's like, Kita, you are black? And I'm like, I'm black. Like, literally, I did not know. I had to be told by other kids that I was black. Now, granted, we did play with each other and all of that, but it was times that, like differences, they would make fun of my hair. They would make fun of, things that, you know, but we did kind of get along. But from there, they were talking about how they grew up and they were saying they were going to be different because now black people are being introduced back into we are integrating back into communities. And we went to school with people, and the other kids got to see that we are human. Like, we're human, flesh and blood. We're regular people just like you. We want the same things you want. It's not those stereotypes that we're just so much more violent. Like, they love that stereotype. Um, because that helps with their convictions of black people, because black people are violent. So of course we need to tame them and keep them in cells and cages and stuff because they're violent. But she was saying how, I'm sorry, he was saying how, well, one of the person that stitched was like, y'all said y'all were going to be different from your parents. Like, literally nothing has changed. We're still being oppressed. And thank God someone brought up the justice system, because that is one thing that nobody ever wants to talk about. No one ever wants to talk about the criminal justice system being RACIST. It's embedded in it. They would tell you that a black man standing trial stands no chance. That's why the public defender will beg you not to go to trial. They want you to take pleas. An innocent person, even if you're innocent, they're going to try to coerce you to take a plea, which means an innocent person is taking time for a crime they didn't do. So they went on, one man stitched that mass incarceration came out of it. What are you talking about? The war on drugs came out of the 80s, 90s. I'm sorry, this, did he say the 70s? No, he said the 80s and 90s. It came out of that, like, which led to the mass incarceration and stuff like that. So where were you? And then another guy was like, hold on, you say you listen to hip hop, but did you listen to the lyrics? Like, the lyrics were telling you things that were happening, like Ice Cube. They were telling you how they were coming through the hoods, coming and just putting cases on all kinds of people with tanks. They had tanks and stuff coming through your neighborhood and just arresting everybody. There was a movie about that. I can't remember that lady's name, but it was basically the public housing. They come through and everybody got a case. And basically, if you get a case, you can no longer have the public assistance. So now the single mother is struggling to where she can't even take care of her kids. And she stood up against that system. Now, she did, I believe she did happen to win, but it was so scary because nobody believes you. Nobody, they assume that you're in that demographic, that location, you've got to be guilty. Like, this is what our whole system stands on, just by who you are, where you come from, and the color of your skin. You're already wrote off to being guilty or innocent. Now, when a person that is of Caucasian descent goes through trial, they will sit there most times and listen to the facts and try to figure out whether they're innocent or guilty. It's not that downright, outright, as soon as you know, sit down in the defendant chair, they're already in their mind saying he's guilty. And me being a prison wife for so long, and you know how people talk about, it's shunned to talk about charges. I think the men on the inside don't discuss their charges so much. Number one, it's gonna make you angry that someone that did far less than you got so much less time than you, and you got bukus on bukus on bukus of time, and you don't even have a second chance at your life, and you try to figure out why. But this person that clearly did way, way worse has a doable amount of time and they have a second chance at life. Like, it makes you angry and it stirs up situations. But I think the women are more talkative about their husband's situation, and then, oh, how much time your husband got, how much time your husband got. And then there some women that go into talking about what happened, and you are like, hold on, somebody didn't come back, somebody is outed from this situation, and he only got how much? That's it. Like, I promise you, it was this one, I don't want to say too much because I really don't know who watches my channel. But it was this one girl. She was Caucasian. Her husband was Caucasian. And they would be visiting, right? So, believe it or not, every race goes to prison. They love to make it seem as though it's only black people. Every race is in them prisons. But the thing is, black people tend to get the longest time for the same crimes. They get longer time. So they, of course, they're gonna pack more black people there because they have more time to do. So the Caucasian girl, I think it was a mother or something. They were talking, and there was like, I can't believe they gave him so much time. I think he only had like literally like 5 or 6 years. Didn't even have that long. Like, compared to me, who husband got 40 years for a robbery you can't even prove. Nobody hurt, nobody palled, no nothing, and you don't even have the weapon you're claiming he used. You have no fingerprints, you have no DNA, you have nothing. Give him 40 years, and I'm told that that's being lenient on him, giving him 40 years. But the situation was, she was crying and she was like, they took his driver's license. He'll never be able to drive again. And they gave him so much time. He had like 5 or 6 years, y'all. And at the end of the story, it was basically like, he didn't mean to hit his friend. He hit and outed his friend. And somebody did not come back from that situation. And he only had a couple years. By now, he's out. Unless he went back, he's out. They're back together. Their family has moved on. And we haven't had the first chance for our family to move on. And I'm like, how is that possible? Even if that was that same situation and the guy was black and he was driving and he didn't mean to, but his friend was gone, they're going to give him more than 5 or 6 years. So our system does operate off of that ism, but then we're told it's not. It's because we're just more violent. That's why y'all pack the prisons. That's why it's mass incarceration of y'all, because y'all are just more violent. Y'all out there committing all the crimes and stuff. And it's just not so. It's really not so. And then I was so heart warmed when someone brought up the one guy said he's not gonna be easy on this guy. That why is it always when someone then did 15 years, 10 to 15 years, then it comes back that they were innocent? Why is it always a black person in that situation? And I ask that too, because I always tell you the stat that black men lead in wrongful convictions. And the reason that black men lead in wrongful conviction, now they would tell me, oh, duh. Somebody did tell me this. Someone said, duh, because that's all that's in prison. It's all black people in prison. So, of course, it's going to be black men leading in wrongful conviction. Almost like it turns the blame to you. It's your fault y'all are massively incarcerated. And it's also your fault that there was no compassion taken on the wrongful conviction part. Like, literally, there's no compassion for that. They don't even believe that happens. It doesn't happen in our system. It's because it doesn't happen to you in our system. But it happens quite frequently to us. That is what we're trying to point out. And I don't know, we just can't never move forward until we can actually have these conversations. This is why people are angry, because it's so many situations that you cannot address. You can't talk about. Whenever there's something you cannot address or talk about, that happens a lot in narcissistic relationships. They never want the blame out, and they will never allow you to address the issues. That way it could just cycle, keep going, and nobody ever they never have to take blame. And that's what I believe it is. This is why people want to talk about these situations, so we can finally move forward. We want to be whatever a woman wants to be. I, as a black woman, want that as well. Want my husband. I want my white picket fence, my house, my career. I want all of that, and I have worked for it. Whatever you want as a Asian woman, or a Caucasian woman, or a Hispanic woman, I want the same things. But I shouldn't be obstructed from getting them when other people are not obstructed from getting them, and then turned the blame back, shifted to us. It's the reason we don't come up as a society is because we just don't want to, and that's not it. It is so many that been trying to make change. They silence us. They won't let us be heard. There are people that want to talk about. I even last night, there are Caucasian people that actually do see how the system is racist, and they do see through all these stereotypes. They see the truth for what the truth is, right? And there's this one girl on I think her name is Chicken and Nuggets or something like that, and she is literally breaking it down, and she is only asking to speak to other Caucasian people that don't believe that they are racist. They don't think they are. But upon her breaking it down and explaining it, she's showing them how they support that system that is, and therefore, by default, they are. See, it's now you could be racist and not really even know that you are. Back then, you knew you were doing something wrong. You knew what you were doing. But the way that it is so insidiously hidden, you actually think you're fighting on the right side, right? But it's not really. But all right, my phone's about to overheat. I had another video. I'm gonna review this one, see that it even record good, because I got the wrong sim in my phone, so I don't know if it came out pixelated, if you can hear me or anything. But I'll link hers. Now, what I don't believe in is I don't believe in all of the the hate that sometimes is spewed out to Caucasian and other demographics, you don't have to hate. Like I watch a lot of the videos and they call them palm colored. And I'm like, oh, that seems so like disrespectful for someone to call them palm colored. Like I don't like that. Like it's certain things that I'm like, because I sit neutrally. I sit neutrally. I love my people and I want my people to arise and come up and be who we've always been. We're that. We are that. But we're being obstructed from being the great people that we are. And it is happening. It's not over with. It never stopped. It just became covered up. It's like, if you have you ever been in a neighborhood where the power lines are above ground, and then the newer neighborhoods started putting the power lines below ground. There's still power lines in that community. They didn't just somehow get rid of all the power lines. They just hid them so they're not so unsightly everywhere, right? And that's the same way. But I also don't condone pure, hate being spewed back. And that's what happens. Hurt people hurt people. Our communities are hurt. So our communities sometimes, not all the time, I'm not saying every case, some cases, they in turn reciprocate what has been done to them. I don't condone that either. We are all human. Adult conversations where people take the race away from it, even with narcissism. What happens is the narcissist will never let you get out your side. Like when people are gonna disagree, right? So when you disagree, they can say what they need to say. And then when you want to say your side so that we can come to some type of agreement, you are talked over, you are shut up, you are told that you're just complaining, you're told everything to shut you down. So only one side gets heard. So if we can ever become adult enough and stop, these systems are in place to hold us back. It really is. Admit it and let's get past it. You have to dismantle it so that we can be free. We got to be cut free from these systems. All right, guys. Here's your girl Cadillac.